The Galactic Council's transmission crackled through the settlement speakers with cold authority. Janet stood in the common hall of Outpost Kepler 442b, her calloused hands gripping the edge of the metal table as the words echoed through the chamber. Human Operative Janet Chen, you are hereby ordered to vacate this facility within 72 standard hours. Your presence violates Protocol 7 Alpha of the Interspecies Children Protection Act. Raymond, her partner of 6 years, placed a hand on her shoulder. His jaw was set, eyes dark with barely contained fury. They both knew this was coming. Ever since the VRIX delegation had discovered what they'd been doing here, the bureaucratic machine had been grinding toward this inevitable conclusion. They can't do this, Raymond muttered. Those cubs need us, Janet didn't respond. Her gaze drifted to the observation window overlooking the facility's residential wing. Through the reinforced glass she could see them, 17 Kryn cubs aged between 4 and 9 in human years. Their orange and cream-striped fur gleamed under the artificial lights as they played in the common area, unaware that their world was about to shatter again. The Kryn had been victims of the border wars, their colony ships destroyed by raiders who saw children as profitable cargo. Janet and Raymond had intercepted one such slave vessel 3 years ago, liberating the cubs from cages barely large enough for them to turn around in. The Galactic Council had initially praised their efforts, but praise turned to suspicion when the humans refused to hand the children over to processing centers, sterile institutions where orphaned aliens waited years for placement, often growing up behind walls with minimal contact. Instead, Janet and Raymond had built something different here on Kepler 442b, a home. Operative Chen. The voice belonged to Counselor Thex, a VRIX administrator whose species prided itself on emotional detachment. The cubs will be transferred to Facility Gamma 9 where certified Kryn caretakers will assume responsibility. Your attachment to them is noted but irrelevant. Janet's fingers dug into the table's edge. Attachment. As if love could be reduced to a clinical term in a report. Janet. Raymond's voice was soft, urgent. Look, she turned. Through the window, the cubs had stopped playing. The oldest, a female named Riska, stood with her ears flat against her head, staring directly at them. Kryn had exceptional hearing. They'd heard everything. What happened next would be discussed in council chambers for years to come. Riska didn't cry. She didn't panic. Instead, she turned to the younger cubs and began speaking in rapid clicks and whistles, the Kryn language Janet and Raymond had painstakingly learned. One by one, the cubs scattered to their rooms. What are they doing? Raymond asked. Janet's heart clenched as realization dawned. They're packing. Within minutes, the cubs emerged carrying their belongings in small bags Janet had sewn from recycled fabric. Favorite toys, drawings, the star charts they'd made during astronomy lessons, the cooking tools from their cultural heritage classes. Riska carried a photograph, one of the few physical pictures in the digital age, showing all of them together at last year's Harvest Festival. They lined up at the door to the common hall, 17 pairs of luminous golden eyes fixed on Janet and Raymond with absolute determination. Riska stepped forward, her young voice clear despite its tremor. Where Janet goes, we go. Where Raymond goes, we go. This is the human way, yes? Family stays together. Janet's vision blurred. Raymond had to look away, his shoulders shaking. The council transmission had gone silent. Then Counselor Thex's voice returned, stripped of its usual detachment. This is highly irregular. The cubs cannot what? Janet found her voice and it rang with steel. Cannot choose who they trust? Cannot decide who their family is? You are ready to put them in another facility, another cage, just cleaner and with better PR. We gave them a home, Raymond added, stepping forward to stand beside Janet. We taught them their language, their customs, their history. We sat with them through nightmares about the raids. We celebrated their festivals and honored their dead. And you want to tear them away because the paperwork doesn't fit your protocols? Riska's voice joined theirs. Humans came when no one else did. Humans freed us when others would profit from our chains. Humans cried with us, laughed with us, taught us to be Kryn again. She raised her small fist, a distinctly human gesture. We are cubs of Janet, cubs of Raymond. We go where they go. The other cubs echoed her words, their voices rising in a chorus that filled the hall. The transmission remained silent for a long moment. When Counselor Thex spoke again, something had shifted in that carefully modulated voice. I will need to consult with the full council. You do that, Janet said. But while you're consulting, know this. We're not leaving without them, and they've made it clear they're not leaving without us. So either you approve this family, or you'll have to forcibly remove 17 traumatized children from the only stability they've known. I wonder how that will look in your reports. Raymond knelt down, and the cubs rushed forward, surrounding both humans in a tide of orange fur and desperate embraces. Kriska pressed her face against Janet's shoulder. Please don't leave us, the cub whispered. Janet held her close. Never, I promise. 3 days later, the council issued a revised statement. Protocol 7 Alpha was amended to include provisions for unconventional but effective guardianship arrangements. Janet and Raymond were officially recognized as foster parents to 17 Kryn cubs, with full legal rights and responsibilities. The humans had been ordered to leave. But when the cubs packed their things too, when children stood up and declared their choice, even the Galactic Council had to acknowledge something humanity had always known. Family isn't defined by biology or bureaucracy. It's built by those who stay when others walk away, who fight when others file paperwork, who love when others calculate efficiency. And sometimes, that's the most human thing of all.